Honeymoon once per year. Think back of your original honeymoon. You were a newly married couple. You thought you knew everything there was about one another. What was your first honeymoon night like? Was it what you expected it to be? If yes, you can look forward to an even greater honeymoon ahead. But if not, then you can also look forward to many more great times together. Because now, many years later, you've only just started getting to know your partner, and you're going to relate to each other and be able to be more open, communicative, and loving, and way more intimate than you were in the beginning. Now, I find it so sad that many couples have a honeymoon only once in their lives. And even that memory is not always the best they have. A honeymoon is not only there to consummate the marriage and celebrate the uniting of two people. It's a celebration of love, spending your life together for the rest of time on earth, for better or for worse. Surely this is one event that deserves more celebration than only once in your lifetime. Now, I suggest that you have a honeymoon at least once per year. You may choose your wedding anniversary date for this, or any other date that has a significant meaning to you and your partner. And please note that it's not part of your normal holiday vacation with the kids, which just happens to include 1 or 2 passionate nights alone. No, this is not something where you have to sneak away from everyone just to spend a few hours together. Definitely not. These honeymoons do not have to be only 1 week long vacations either. They can be planned over a weekend. The emphasis is on the two of you spending this time alone together with the aim of making love, being intimate, and just spending the time in each other's company. Now, I know, I can hear you already saying, hey, we cannot just pack up and go on a weekend vacation. It's too expensive. We can't afford this. Besides, who's going to look after the kids? Well, if that's your only excuse, then I'm really glad that you're watching this video course, because you seriously need help. Once a year, I'm sure that you have grandparents or friends or someone that you know in the family or social circle that won't mind putting up with your kids for 2 nights. This is a minor hurdle. And yet, if this is still a problem for you, then I suggest that you mention this video lesson, this exercise, to another couple with kids. Ideally, they should be close friends, and in return, you do the same for them. Problem solved. They'll also gladly jump at the chance. You see, there's always a solution to a problem. You just got to think about it logically. The cost of the weekend should not be your concern. Take note that the emphasis is on a honeymoon weekend where just the two of you are together. How do I put this? All you need is a bed. Let's be realistic. You can book into a 5-star hotel, but you could book into a cheaper motel or even hire a small cottage in the woods somewhere. The cost depends on the two of you, but it doesn't have to be a crazy exorbitant cost, because it's about romance, spending time together, going for walks. That log cabin in the woods, not a bad option. You could even spend it at home, but alone, no kids, no other family members. It can be the most inexpensive holiday ever. The emphasis, I repeat, is being on alone and together with no interruptions. You can leave it at a very quiet affair and simply disappear over the weekend, or you have a big ceremony where you publicly reaffirm your marriage vows in front of close friends and family, and then fly off to some exotic Caribbean island for a few days. That doesn't really concern me in this video lesson. You need to realize that exotic destinations, classy hotels, sunny beaches are not going to make the weekend a success if you have not planned it properly as a romantic weekend. These exotic places are also not the secret remedies to success either. It's all in your hands. The main object of beauty during this honeymoon should be your partner. Let me give you some tips to make these honeymoons extra special. Firstly, both of you have to decide together on a destination and a date. Now, ideally, I would do this when planning all my New Year's resolutions. In this way, you both know long before when this weekend will happen. Thus, there are no excuses for anything coming in between this date, such as conferences, company trips, etc., and no excuses should be accepted from either person. Under no circumstances should you ever change this date. Now, at this stage, you can also decide whether you're going to have a big ceremony. I would leave that for special occasions, such as a 10-year or 20-year anniversary. But that's not saying that if you want to do this more often, you can't do that. That's entirely up to you. I would reaffirm my vows every year with my partner, but this can be a private affair, just between the two of you. Somehow, to me, that's a little bit more intimate and more touching for both of you. And don't do it on Facebook. Come on, this is under 4 eyes, okay? Whatever you decide on, start writing out your marriage vows that are of importance to you. Keep these to yourself and do this in private without your spouse present. And also, they shouldn't know when you're busy with them either. This is something that only gets read out and only gets shared on that first night of your honeymoon. This has got to be really special. Keep these vows in a safe place, and every year you can compare and add new ones. And you're going to notice how your vows will change each year and how you begin noticing different things that are important in your marriage and about your spouse. You should also plan to buy each other a gift for this honeymoon. Now, that's for some couples also a touchy point, because it's a very special occasion, and then, oh, how much money are we going to spend? The gift should not exceed a certain agreed amount of money. You see, overly expensive gifts are not the kind of gifts that I would ever recommend or think of recommending for this occasion. Let's be realistic. It's easy if you have the money to buy each other expensive and lasting jewelry, but the money is not the issue here. Everyone can do this. And I personally feel that not much thought goes into a gift where you quickly run into town, buy a ring that looks good, have it gift wrapped in the shop and return home. You can do this within half an hour. The gift that you want to get for each other needs to be a difficult decision. It must take you days, if not weeks, to come up with the idea for the gift. And it must fit within a certain small budget. Now, the reason being that this present must be something that comes from your heart. The gift may not be any jewelry, perfume, or clothing of any sort. Yet it must be something that your partner will be able to keep for the rest of their lives and which will always remind them of this special night together. You're racking your brain already, aren't you? It's going to keep you thinking. But believe me, when you eventually decide on the gift, it's going to have far more emotional attachment to it than a ring bought in a jewelry store. Now, some simple examples, because I know now you're worrying, what can we get? Let me give you an example. Could be the husband giving the wife a picture of the two of them when they first met, in a simple picture frame. The wife may have a little note with a sweet saying on it, which she received from her husband during courtship. And this, you as the husband could have mounted and framed for her. You may have tried to paint your husband in oil and still have the really bad attempt somewhere. No matter how good or bad it looks, what a great gift to give, because that was done with love, as it's got your personal touch to it. Could be like a new design of modern art. The emphasis is on the personal touch. Maybe you've made something by hand that has worked or hasn't worked. Therefore, you should also, with whatever you give, write a personal handwritten, not typed on a computer. Can you still write by hand? Handwritten note with that gift. And when you get to your destination, I think the first thing you should do is kind of just get into the bedroom, make love, and set the mood for that time, that weekend, the 2-3 days, that week together. It's important not to have any contact with home or work. No phones must ring. No Facebook, social media, nothing like that. You only give the telephone number to the people looking after the kids and leave strict instructions not to be contacted unless there's an emergency. No one at work must know where you are either. And while you're on your honeymoon, you leave your watches. As you get into the accommodation that you're going to, put the watches in the drawer. Do not be bound by time, and then go to the bedroom. Let me repeat that. Don't be bound by time, be bound by each other. Take those walks, whether it's in the countryside, along the beach, and do those talks I spoke to in the previous lesson, where one does the talking, then you alternate for the next walk. Spend time playing with each other. For example, both learn to juggle. Try romantic candlelit dinner, followed by a private renewal of your vows. Get naked in bed after dinner, cuddle up, share your vows, make it a touching experience. Follow this by another lovemaking session. Speaking to the younger people here, you can do it more often, okay, right? Make the most of it while you're younger as well. If you can afford to stay for a few days, alternate and spend one entire day pampering your partner without sex. The emphasis must be on unconditional love and giving, without wanting sex in return. It will make the following day, well, let's put it this way, very interesting. Here's one of those stories again. A young couple get married, they're on their honeymoon, and the bride comes out of the bathroom. She's wearing her robe, and the husband looks at her and says, "We're married now, you can open your robe." And she does, and he is in awe. It's like, oh, wow. Can I just take a picture? You're so beautiful. She goes, "Why do you want to take a picture?" He says, "I want to carry your beauty next to my heart forever." She smiles. He takes a picture. And now he heads into the bathroom, showers, comes out wearing his robe. The wife says, "And that's why you're wearing your robe. Take it off." He takes it off. The wife exclaims, "Oh my goodness, let me get a picture too." And he beams. And he goes, "Why do you also want to carry my picture close to your heart?" She says, "No, I actually want to get it enlarged." Yeah, I can see a lot of wives are laughing now. Right, I trust this lesson brought home a lot of good points for you. Go out, go practice this, go do this. If you haven't planned a honeymoon for the year, go do it now. And once you've got all that together, let's carry on with the next lesson.